health department, but the health department, we don't have record of having received those vaccines. This isn't something we want to be announcing, certainly something we would never hope would happen. And so we wanted to get in front of you and let you know as soon as we knew for sure what had happened. As part of this process, we've conducted a thorough review of our process internally, and actually are working with the state as well on their process to ensure that this doesn't happen again. So just to give you some background and context, in the early stages of vaccinations for COVID, we were distributing mostly Moderna vaccines. Actually, we were distributing exclusively Moderna vaccines. The logistical process for Moderna is very different than it is with Pfizer. And we've only been giving Pfizer vaccines for about 3 weeks. So we've only been through like we're now getting ready to do second rounds of second doses of Pfizer vaccine. So in this particular instance, it was the first time that we had received our doses from Pfizer, and we're in the process of receiving our second doses. So Pfizer ships both vaccine and dry ice. So first doses are ordered by us. They come, some dry ice comes, and we store those. Second doses don't have to be ordered, and they come with accompanying dry ice as well. And this particular shipment, we did not receive notice that we were getting it. So our team was not aware that we should be receiving second doses. So we're really looking for it. However, when we received doses the next week and realized the doses we received the previous week might have been second doses, our team immediately reached out to the state of Tennessee, let leadership here know. I'm very proud of them for doing that, and began looking into why this happened so that it won't happen again. So some other bits of information. Pfizer uses GPS and the temperature tracking system so that they know where their vaccine is and if it goes out of temperature. And this system seemed to fail in this instance as well. And so we're asking questions of the state about why that happened, and Pfizer, of course. So in closing, I'd like to just say that we remain very committed to integrity and transparency, which is why we're here today announcing this. And I want to say again, I'm proud of our team for noticing the discrepancy and bringing light to it and looking into it and making changes. Something we do here at KCHD all the time, but in an instance like this, it's even harder sometimes for our team to handle that. It was a kick in the gut for all of us, getting our community. Apologize. Vaccinating our community is very important to us. So nationally and statewide, the vaccination process is a really big logistical challenge, and we all know that. And we're also aware that there are other times when vaccine has been wasted in other places and across the state and across the country. So it's not the first, but it's our first, and we wanted to let you know that.
All right, and we'll treat this similar to how we treat our media briefings. So media colleagues who are a part of this Zoom call, you may go ahead and submit your questions into that chat feature, and we've got time to read some of those out today. So the first question we have is from Brian Hornback. Do you know where the 975 physically are? Did you locate them? Were they destroyed?
We did not locate them. What we believe happened is that they were discarded or disposed of, believing that it was just a box of dry ice. I would add that these shipments actually don't come with packing slips, because I know that's unusual, but it's part of the concern about safety and secrecy, or not secrecy, but security with this vaccine. So the vaccines don't come with a packing list.
The next question we have is from Grace with WBIR. If they are second doses, what will happen to those people now? Will they still get second doses on time?
They will get their second doses on time. We fortunately had a tray of 975 doses that we had ordered. We're in the process of planning an event for. When we discovered this, we put those plans on hold, And we'll be giving those doses as second doses to these folks, I believe, this week.
Any further questions? From Vincent with Knox News, can you please clarify, did you lose 975 doses of vaccine?
900, well, we believe that there was a box that had vaccine in it that was mistakenly identified to be just a box of dry ice and disposed of appropriately. So it's gone in as, I don't ever dispose of dry, I haven't disposed of dry ice, but I believe it went into the trash.
From Scott with Compass, do you know if the doses were actually delivered to KCHD or were they discarded elsewhere?
Based on what we know from Pfizer and from the state, we do believe they were delivered here to KCHD, but that's one of our questions. Again, they have those tracking devices on them, and nobody outside us seemed to be alerted to the fact that there was a missing box of Pfizer vaccine.
Any further questions from our media colleagues, please go ahead and submit them into the chat feature now. From Brian Hornback, there is no way they are out in a black market.
No.
From Claire with WUOT, if you were supposed to get this delivery 3 weeks ago, why did it take this long to notice the discrepancy?
No, actually the first doses came 3 weeks ago. These doses just came last week. So that the second doses get shipped about a week before they're due. But again, this was our first round with Pfizer, and we were not clear on the logistics, and we didn't get notice of shipment as we've been accustomed to with the Moderna.
From Allie with Knox News, after you alerted the state, did officials mention something like this had happened elsewhere?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Any further questions? Please go ahead and submit them. We have Vincent says he is typing, so and I believe a couple other reporters are typing as well, so we'll wait for them to submit their questions. From Scott with Compass, what changes have you made to ensure this doesn't happen again?
So we've put some more checks and balances in place. Our team is also building more people into the team so we have more redundancy in that team. And so again, just more checks and balances, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it.
From Vincent with Knox News, so to clarify, you received a first dose 3 weeks ago and noticed that you had more second dose in the next shipment. That's how this was discovered?
Not exactly. So approximately 3 weeks ago, maybe a little more than that, we received our first shipment of Pfizer vaccine. Those vaccines were administered over time. And then last week we received, and what happened with the first shipment was we got, we've had some other first dose shipments. So we'd get the vaccine and then some dry ice, and then the vaccine and some dry ice. So we received some vaccine last week and on Thursday, as we usually do. And then on Friday, we received some, actually it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Sorry, that was 2 weeks ago. Received some vaccine, and on Friday received a shipment that was usually the timing of the dry ice, didn't look like the other boxes, doesn't have a packing slip, and that was disposed of. Then this past week, we received a shipment and the dry ice came at the same time. And when we looked at that and realized the differences in the boxes and the appearance of the shipment, that's when our team member was like, oh goodness, maybe there was a second dose shipment that I thought was dry ice.
From Grace with WBIR, just to make sure we're clear, are people who got first doses of Moderna getting second doses of Pfizer, or how did that work if you haven't been receiving Pfizer doses before?
So yeah, I understand that's a little bit confusing. So we've been receiving, no, people who received Pfizer will be receiving Pfizer second doses. Let me make that perfectly clear. You got Pfizer first dose, you get Pfizer second dose. Absolutely, without a doubt. So we order vaccine every week. And so a little over 3 weeks ago, about 4 weeks ago, we ordered and got our first shipment of Pfizer, and then the second doses come later. But in between those weeks, we'd received first dose shipments of Pfizer. They're staggered, but we get the first dose shipments each week. I hope it's confusing.
Any further questions from our media colleagues? From Brian Hornback, will there be disciplinary actions taken toward the employee or employees?
So, I just like to really emphasize that I'm really proud of our team and that they did the right thing. They made us aware of a mistake, and they're working to correct that. And all appropriate corrective actions have been taken. And, we will all be checking and double checking going forward to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
From Grace with WBIR, how does the Knox County Health Department staff feel today?
Well, our team is upset. And they're, like I said, it's a kick in the gut. For those who know, now our team knows, but previous to that, our team didn't know. So those involved are very upset. And our team works to protect and vaccinate our community 365. Outside COVID, we've been doing this way before COVID. They are here and they're committed. They don't go into public health because they don't want to protect people and they don't believe in vaccine and they don't want people to get vaccinated. So this is what they've committed their lives to. And so they're upset, understandably, as obviously I am too.
From Allie with Knox News, how will this affect appointments in the coming weeks? Have people who are supposed to get the second shot from that shipment been notified?
There's no need to notify them. We have vaccine for them. So I want to tell everybody out there who's due a second dose of Pfizer, you will get your second dose of Pfizer on time. Although I think we had one schedule change, not due to this, but something else. So you'll get your second dose on time. It will be Pfizer. We have the vaccine in hand. Nobody needs to worry about their second dose. Going forward, we're going to continue to plan and give first doses as we already have scheduled. Tomorrow morning, we'll be looking again at our big master schedule and looking forward to future dates when we can vaccinate people with first doses and second doses.
From Vincent with Knox News, says he's a little unclear, asking Pfizer dry ice is packed in unlabeled boxes that look like boxes of vaccine.
Yeah, yes, that's pretty correct. And actually there's slight differences, but they're not totally not different. Yeah, it's around security and being able to identify that there's vaccine in that box. So they're being very cautious about security. And so that's one of the reasons things look kind of generic.
From Claire with WUOT, will the state be sending an extra 975 doses to make up for the loss, or will these be taken from the pool of what would have been first doses for the county?
So like I said previously, our plan right now, and actually we haven't heard that from the state. I'm not sure we haven't asked that question. It's a good question to ask if they'll be replacing those doses. Right now, as I said, we had a tray of 975 doses that we were in the process of planning an event for. We stopped planning that event. No one has been notified. No appointments were made for that event because it wasn't even planned yet. And so we're taking those 975 first doses to use as second doses this weekend or the end of this week for the folks who need them.
From Grace with WBIR, do you expect the state to be launching an investigation?
Well, we asked them to do that. We initiated it and they've looked into it. And I'm sure we may hear other things from them. There's still more questions to answer, to be honest. Why didn't the GPS tracker work? Why didn't the temperature monitor work? Why were we the ones who found this out?
From Austin with WATE, is there surveillance video of these actions? Do we know exactly where the vaccines are now?
The vaccines have been disposed of. They're not available anywhere. I mean, they were put in, they were disposed of. And there's no surveillance in that area.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions in. If any media colleagues have any additional questions, please go ahead and submit them into the chat feature now.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. From Claire with WUOT, to be clear, a planned public vaccination event was canceled because of the loss?
No. An event that was being planned didn't happen. It wasn't there was no date set. There was nobody had been notified. We were in the process of saying, where could we do this? How could we do this? When could we do this? And so the planning process stopped, but no one misses an appointment. Nobody missed it. There wasn't anything planned. We're not having to call people and cancel. Nothing's been canceled because nothing was on the books yet. So, and I just want to point out there was no malintent or any mischievous behavior around any of this at all.
Brian Hornback is asking for clarification about disposed of, is asking if that's the landfill, incinerated, etc.
It was appropriately disposed of and taken away appropriately by Waste Management or whoever does that for us.
Let's see, Scott with Compass was asking a similar question, asking if it was disposed of as medical waste or regular solid waste.
It was disposed of as it's supposed to be.
Vincent with Knox News. So the extra second doses are going to be used as first doses in upcoming appointments.
No. We had a tray of 975 doses that were shipped for the intent of first doses. We were planning to use those. We had not announced anything. We had not made any appointments. And so when we found this out, we stopped that planning. We'll be using those first doses for second doses. They're all the same. There's no difference in the dosage. There's no difference in the amount of stuff that you draw up. They're exactly the same. First dose Pfizer, second dose Pfizer are interchangeable. They're exactly the same vaccine. There's no difference in them. So people will still get their second doses just like they would have. The amount of diluent you draw up is no different. It's all exactly the same.
All right, please go ahead and submit any final questions. From Brian Hornback asking what Mayor Jacobs' reaction was.
It's a great question for Mayor Jacobs.
From Claire with WUOT, how many people have signed up for the new wait list so far?
Last I heard, it was a little over 5,000, but that was a couple hours ago.
Yeah, we can provide updated numbers tomorrow during our media briefing on that wait list, Claire. From Cole with WBIR, on a different note, how did the vaccination wait list rollout go this morning? Also asking how many people signed up.
Yeah, really well. As far as I can tell, I haven't actually checked in with our phone bank folks. I know they were really busy. We're happy with how it went. I guess no news is good news. Nobody's called me and said we crashed anything or anything like that. So that's good.
And Cole, similar to your question from Claire, we will be able to check with our team and we can provide an updated number on the number of people signed up tomorrow. All right, any further questions? We have a question that just came in from Commissioner Daly. To be clear, has any other county had this issue?
You'd have to ask other counties. I don't have that information, or the state.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat feature. So if no one else has any further questions, we'll hold on for a couple more seconds to see if someone's typing, but it doesn't look like it. So that said, we thank you all for your time today, and we will see you again for our media briefing tomorrow at 12:30. Have a good rest of your day.